we're going into the Lions Den, but I want to come out with his head at the end of it.
All right, it's official. It's locked in. Mr. Mandatory is going for Mr. Undisputed, and he joins us, Sam Goodman. Welcome to the Punch podcast to you.
Thanks for having us on, brother. Appreciate it as always.
You've been wanting this for a while. We've all been wanting this for a while. There's been umming and ahhing for a while. When did the official contract come through to say I'm fighting for the undisputed champion of the world?
Think about a month ago, I think we had contract signed, so close to. So I've known for quite a while now, and I've been preparing for a while now. I'm in a real good spot. Um, yeah, so I've known for a little bit now, and it's good just to be able to. It's no secret for everyone. It's finally out there, and everyone can book their flights, get to Japan, and yeah, get those tickets. So it's just good, and yeah, I'm stoked.
You can never really pick it. You can have all the promises in the world, but until you see that contract, it is a cross your fingers game a little bit. Was it ever on shaky grounds, do you think, or were you pretty certain that this would
No,
actually
I was
play
pretty
out?
I was pretty certain I always had the shot. It was just about once we even had the contract signed, you can't say anything really. Like I was there the other week, and like we already had contracts signed back then. So it was a matter of you can't say anything till the Japanese promoters release it, and until it's all done by them. So yeah, it was whisperings about it the whole time, but it was yeah about 6 weeks ago I think was once I was pretty confident, that it looks like I'm gonna get the shot next. So yeah, it's since then it's just been going to the gym and getting in there and ripping in as much as I can and as hard as I can.
When you sign that contract and then you do go to the gym, do you walk through the doors? I would imagine you might with a bit of either a spring in your step or a different mindset or a different objective.
Um, I wouldn't say a different objective. It definitely gives you a push. Like it's like anything. You always get a date and you got something to work towards. But this is the reason. This is what you dream about when you start boxing. So it's definitely motivating. But my motivation's always like about putting in the best work when I'm in the gym, and it's no different. I just know I've got to do a lot more, and do stuff as I always have, and with a lot of intent.
Does training change in the sense of probably more vision on your opponent or more technique for the opponent? Obviously, there's training, but then there's training for the undisputed champion and what they say, the pound for pound king.
Um, Look, I'm not going to change everything just because I've got to the big dance. I know what I do well and I know what I can do. So it's about continually improving on what I do well. But yeah, of course, you've got to look at with every opponent. You look at a few things they do well, and a few things I've got to be careful of. He does a lot well, and I've got to be on my A game to beat this guy. I've got no I'm aware of how big the job is that I've got to do. But look, I wouldn't do this if I didn't think I could do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'd be unreal to see you walk to that ring. And that's something we've all been waiting for a long time. It actually feels like an eternity since you sat down after Ray Salim and went, Mr. Mandatory. Like,
Yeah,
doesn't that, like,
it's
we've had four since then or three or something. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, it's been about four fights since going
Yeah.
mandatory. So I think you'd find it hard to find a fighter that's really went out and had to do that and be that busy and be that active. A lot of people just park up and sit on the sidelines. But I've continued to progress, continued to take hard fights and put myself out there and build on my brand. Like I said in the last couple of fights, I've if I did sit out, I wouldn't have got to headline down home a few times and bring boxing back to Wollongong and stuff like that. So there was plenty I ticked off the list that I wanted to do, in the sport of boxing while I did achieve that. So it was yeah, and I got better and better with each camp as well. I think activities, paramount to being the best you can be.
That's what they say too. And it's not even so much the fight per se, it's by going through camp, waking up, having the date, going through, turning up, putting on a show, starting again. Now that like you're going through the momentum and the routines, right?
100%. And it's always when you do have that date locked in, you can't not show up and not put in the maximum effort. So it's whereas you're out of camp or whatever, like yeah, you train consistently, but it's not the same. You're ticking over almost. Working on skills and a few things, and keeping your fitness at a good level. But once you got that date, you got to fight. It's a lot more serious, and it's a lot more zoned in, a lot more volume. The training volume and the workload just goes up, massively. So it's yeah, I always tick over even in between camps, but it's yeah, it's a lot more, especially at the moment.
I think obviously your attention to detail on your opponent too will be maybe even, if not by you, but definitely your team where they're trying to find that game plan for you to beat the monster. That's going to be good. But the good thing is, I think there's a little bit of hope. Is yes, he is the pound for pound king, but Neri did knock him down. There is ways to hurt him. There's ways to beat him, and I'm assuming that you guys are putting together the perfect plan for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, everyone's human. People like to build everyone up into almost a superhuman thing. They call him the monster, all this shit. He's a human being at the end of the day. Everyone's vulnerable and everyone can get beat. So it's about showing up. And I know that there's a lot of people that are, I don't know about him and his team, but his promoters certainly are. They're all planning fights. 2 fights ahead and stuff like that. So if his team are putting their mind in that thought process, they're going to slip up. So um, yeah, like I'm not building him up into something he's not. He's a great fighter, yes, but look, so am I, and I'm going to show it on December 24th.
You probably do have the benefit too of having seen him fight for real too. When you went to Tokyo and ambushed the ring, row 9 to center ring, which was one of your best.
Yeah.
What did you see that night that when you saw him and you're like, okay, I can see myself in that ring doing what I need to do to get those belts?
Look, he's a very good fighter. I'm not going to sit here and slag him off and pick holes in everything he does. But look, there's definitely things I think I can execute on fight night, and I think my style gives everyone trouble, not just him, but everyone in the division. So I think when I get it right, I'm a very very hard person to beat, and I think I'm going to give him plenty of trouble, and not just give him trouble. Go there and take all those straps off him.
Yeah, well, you obviously sat down too and watched the last fight with TJ. How'd you find that one? Because he's come out for this one saying he just wants to be a lot better than the last one. So I don't
Yeah.
think he walked away feeling too crash hot. So not only is he defending his belts, he wants to come out guns blazing.
Yeah, look, I said it. I said I didn't think it was his best performance, but you can put that down to a bit of what TJ done as well. Might have made it a bit awkward for him, but it's a totally different fight, and stylistically, I match up against him totally different to TJ. So it's gonna be a completely different fight. But I'm not gonna be running around the ring trying to be negative and like a lot of fighters have. So I'm gonna be going at him and looking to beat him from the word go.
Yeah, you definitely get that business eye of the tiger. There's the killer eye of the tiger, then there's section eye of the tiger, I guess, and that's what I sort of see when you jump in and you seem to get it done every time, as we've seen where you have. So it's going to be great to see how you try and solve this puzzle. And on the biggest stage, undisputed, it's not many get that crack, and there's not even really many left in the sport at the moment. They're all sort of like vacating or finding a way to lose their belts, I guess. So
Yeah, it's something you dream about, sit like from when you're a kid, like sort of what I'm saying, like this is the reason you get into this sport, for the highest level of competition. And I've been saying I'm going to be doing this sort of stuff since I was 10 years old, and not just to be here, but to win it. So like I'm taking no sort of accolades or anything from just getting to this spot. It's all about winning it. And if I don't win this fight, I've underachieved. And my goal's always been to be a world champion. And look, I get to be undisputed world champion when I take all those bolts off him. So it's going to make it all the more sweeter. And everyone that thinks I can't do it, well, I get to tell you all I told you so.
look forward to that one because I have won money off you before with the Reese and Lim fight. I loaded up on that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
beautiful. We love a good punting story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that was definitely one of them. But I think for him, like the interesting thing is too, every time we've spoken over the years, there's always been like a path to get somewhere, or even just any fight interview. Normally, there's a okay, this fight, but what's next? This is one where you chat about it with zero what's next. This is it.
Yeah,
Like it's almost nuts, like to actually think that that's the end of the road for this division.
kind of. There's always more to the story and more you can add on. So, but you're right. I've never sort of allowed my head to get to those spots. Everyone's always asked me about it. The next fight, the next fight, the next fight. Even when before I went mandatory, it was like, all right, like you win this one, then it's a world title, rah rah, all this stuff. And look, I've never let myself get ahead of the fight I've got in front of me, and you can't, especially for this one, you know. So I'm aware of how big the task is, and everything's riding on this. Every session I've done, every bit of work I've always put in, it's all led to, it's going to lead to this moment, this fight. So it's yeah, it's mate, this is huge. It doesn't get any bigger. This is the pinnacle. So I'm here, but I've got to win it.
Yeah. And it's even better beating one of the stars of the sport too. So it's not sort of someone that's just fallen on four belts. You've got quite the opponent in front of you. What's the traveling setup? How early are you going over? What's your heading? Yeah, what are you giving yourself?
About 2 weeks. The time zone difference not too bad. So it's going to be a bit cold over there. I'm hearing. So, but to be honest, I'm not too worried about the weather. It's not going to be snowing inside the stadium, so we'll be fine with that. But yeah, about 2 weeks we'll head over and sort of just get used to being over there and work our way around. But um yeah, so everything else is on track. We've got plenty of good sparring lined up and plenty of guys coming in. So it's yeah, everything's on track and yeah, all systems go.
Got any pictures up at the gym? Are you one of those guys that just lands him on the wall and looks at him as you walk in and
Nah, not really. I see enough if I turn my Instagram on or swipe up. You're tagged in something with him, so mate, I'm sick of seeing his face. So I'll see him in Tokyo.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Christmas Eve, isn't it? Like, obviously, it's great. It's got a great story and it'll be fun. But I don't know, just well, I guess the build up will all be. I've seen headlines already, like it's a Christmas cracker or chaos at
Yeah,
Christmas or something like that.
yeah. They always seem to do a end of year show like around Christmas or I think last year was Boxing Day. So it's a yeah. I don't know if it's as big in Japan or whatever, but it's probably made a few numbers that we'd usually bring over a little bit smaller, but we'll still have a good crew over there. And yeah, what a way, what a Christmas present, to be bringing four belts back to Australia. And you can call me Santa Claus after that one because I'll be bringing it all with me.
And there's the quote, guys. There's the quote.
Yeah,
Call me Santa Claus. It's having,
yeah.
I don't want to disappoint the kids of the world who are watching this, but like Santa may be delayed in the presents when he gets the pay-per-view. He'll be
Yes,
on the North Pole
absolutely.
couch watching you go undisputed.
Uh,
Sorry, kid.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Mate,
Uh,
that's awesome, and we're really excited for you. And it's probably been a while since you've had the underdog tag too. Does that invoke a little bit more animal in you, or it just doesn't really? You're not a man that actually really gives a shit more often than not. So
to be honest, yeah, I was gonna say I don't really pay too much attention to all that stuff. Like all my mates and that, they'll send me the odds or whatever. But to be honest, like I look at I look at less and less and less stuff in boxing now. Like I used to watch every interview, not even like about me, but like anything on like any like boxing channel online. I used to watch everything, and now that you're just so ingrained in it, I'll probably just look at less and less and less of what everyone else is saying, and I'll concentrate on my own boxing and the job I got in front of me. But um, in terms of listening to any outside noise, it's nothing really these days. So I don't pay too much attention to being the underdog. Realistically, I know a lot of people are going to be writing me off and all that, and that's great. But like I said, it just makes it all the more sweeter when I can turn around and stick the finger up and say I told you so. So, but yeah, this has been my dream, this has been my goal, and I'm going to take it with both hands.
yeah, it's another great Australian sporting story. Obviously, we saw George Kambosos do it with Tio. We just saw they gave Liam Paro donuts for Subriel Matisse. And he not
Yeah,
only did he beat him in his backyard where you'll be as
yeah,
well. Four of the last five fights have Naoyas have been in this arena, so it's home to him, and you get to go in there and do that. So, I mean, it doesn't get much bigger. There's
No,
nothing swaying out of his favor, to be honest.
yeah, no, absolutely. We're going into the into the Lions then, but it's I want to come out with his head at the end of it. So that's the plan.
Well, plan that I cannot wait to watch. And look, we're really excited to see that, as I've said. So we really appreciate you swinging by, giving us your time, and man, that is going to be one hell of a Christmas Eve in Australia with the time zone. I think we're 2 hours out,
Yeah,
so it's
not too bad, not too bad. So it's yeah, about I'd say probably 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. We'll probably be fighting Australian time.
yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to tag Inoue in this video. So what's your message to his team? Because I'm sure he watches all my stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep those belts shiny and mate, get ready to hand them over on December 24th.
Look at that. Sam Goodman, Mr.
Yeah.
Mandatory, soon to be Mr. Undisputed, 122-pound super bantamweight champion of the world. Oh, look at that. That sounded bloody red hot,
And
didn't
new
it?
rolls off the tongue.
Oh,
Rolls off the tongue.
and new.
Yeah, let's
And new.
go.